Dominic, that's me.
Okay, let's start chapter 3. This is actually a pretty fun topic.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty, yeah. It's, I guarantee it's better than the chromosomes, better than DNA. Anything can be better than that, but I know it should be better. It should be better, okay? It tells you why. You know, we learned that you have mix of your mom's and your dad's 23 and 23 chromosomes.
Yes.
Okay? But why are you more like your dad? Why are you more like your mom?
Did you know that?
Because I saw your dad and mom too. At the same time.
You know, I don't look like any of them.
No.
Yeah, you're adopted.
Yeah, they actually said that they got me.
Maybe, yeah. So think about your biological. I don't care. Biological father and mother.
Grandpa.
Yeah. Okay. Why you think like it? Why you? Why are you looking like your grandpa then?
Because you know.
Not like your grandma.
Old? Did you just call me old? Hello, Park?
Going on, she looks more like her grandpa because.
Because what if I got like 24 chromosomes from my dad and 20?
But
If you have a 24 chromosomes, that means you're not a human being anymore. You're more like a chimpanzee or one of the.
No, but she sort of looks.
And I bet you have a 24. Yes.
Hey, that's really mean.
Probably something. She probably has something that no one has heard of before, like 23.5 chromosomes.
Okay, I'm pretty sure she have some bipolar.
I don't, actually. How do you know that? I have Haley.
Yeah, she's Haley. Okay. All right. So let's have a think like why, you know, we learned that humans, we have a 46 chromosomes in the body cells, 23 from your mom, 23 from your dad. So paternal and maternal. Okay? Yeah.
Is that why the flower's red? Because that still looks like this one?
Yeah, well, we're going to learn about why you're only carrying the one of your mom's, one of your dad's characteristics. I mean, there could be a mix of both sometimes, but most likely you will be more look alike your mom or more look alike your dad.
Yeah. How is
Or
that
look
so?
alike your grandmom or granddad.
I have
Okay.
my grandma's feet.
They say the first daughter always looks more like
I like your grandma's
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah, so let's think about why, in what chance, okay? So it all started from the these flowers, so white and red flowers. This is what the pea plant, the pea flowers. Okay, so the person, scientist, he wasn't actually a scientist. He was actually the priest called the Mendel.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Hmm?
This is gonna be in the topic test.
No.
Like
Mendel?
No.
Let me just write it down just in case.
It used to be like a really old-fashioned question, like who actually started like the topic, this section of the genetics was Mendel. Okay, so he was kind of curious about why when he was mating the two different pea plants, and he was seeing the quite different their daughters or their sons. They're quite different. Okay, for example, when he was mating the white flowered pea to the red flowered pea, he was only able to see the red flower, not the white flower at all.
not pink?
Not the pink. For the carnations, there were some pink, but for the pea plant, it's either to be white or red. But when he mated these two, there's always be the red.
Red was domination.
Okay, that's a good start. So this is kind of studies known as genetics, the study of the inherited characteristic. Okay, I would like to highlight that. Genetics is like study of the inherited characteristic called the traits. So it means that second generation, the first generation from that parent.
Pause for a second.
No, you can keep going, sir.
Yeah, first generation from the parents are like showing some traits of the parents. So it's like think about yourself that you're carrying some of your mom's or dad's traits.
No.
Okay, whether that's a physical appearance or whether your characteristics.
Does personality go with traits?
It can be.
Like,
It
my
can
mom
be.
always says I'm really so much up to like
Oh, my mom says I'm stubborn.
But that's
like my
just
dad.
like
that kind of like a
I'm
genetic
sorry, I'm
thing,
lazy
or
like
is
my
that
dad.
just like me personally?
no, that's.
I'm genuinely.
Is she
Mm,
trying to personally attack me or is she just trying to
Yeah,
get
it, or is she trying to back it up with scientific knowledge, or is she?
you just got a personally attacked. Yeah. It's not about the characteristics.
I'm gonna go.
Oh,
Yeah.
my mom said that my dad and I have the exact same taste in like food.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, me and my mom.
yeah. I realized that too
I
with
love
my kids
Kuchang.
too.
And
We didn't teach anything. We feed them same time. So I'm kind of doing the social experiment with my kids, so the twins.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
No.
I keep
It's not like I'm not writing a report about them. I'm giving out the same
Exactly.
foods. I'm giving out the same foods and the same time. Exactly same portion, but one of the kids love that food. One of the kids hates it.
What is that food? Let me relate to one of them.
Broccoli.
Orange?
Broccoli. I knew it was broccoli. It's always broccoli.
It's always broccoli.
Want broccoli?
And one kid loves the broccoli. One kid
love
kid
broccoli.
hates broccoli.
Really?
Yeah,
I
and
never did
I'm the one kind of like a broccoli.
love
My
broccoli
wife
as
hates
well.
the broccoli, so.
I'm broccoli gang.
And mushroom.
I love
I love
mushrooms.
mushrooms.
So I love food.
Shh, okay.
Yum, 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 yum.
Okay, so it's kind of telling you that where is that coming from? It's all coming from your genetic information. So what is gene again?
It's a section of DNA.
Section of DNA. And we all have a different type of the genes. Means that you're carrying the very specific genetic information within that gene, to DNA sections. Okay, it can be making up the chromosomes again.
That was really
They
scary.
keep staring at each other.
Okay, you turn around.
I feel something looking at the back of my head.
You want to sit it here?
Oh, I never looked at her. So I was looking at you and your.
Okay,
really
just
good
focus,
fit.
focus, okay? All right, so let's have a look at the page 77 on your in-class exercise
Very
3.1. So this is actually the his experiment he performed.
Nice.
So he had two flowers, two pea plants. One is tall and one is short. Okay, and the tall flowers always showing that these kind of traits, like a seed always be like yellow, the shape of the round, the coat color was gray, and inflated the pod texture, and the pod color was green, and flower position was along the length of stem. Whereas the short ones showing the green seed, wrinkled seed shape, the white seed coat color, and pod texture was a constricted yellow pod color, and the flowers always be the top of the stem. Okay? Yeah, you okay?
If I was a flower, does that mean I was a green pea?
Your green pea.
Yeah.
So dominant is like the alpha one.
I don't know.
No, she's calling herself short.
Why am I?
Okay. So according to Mendel's experiment, he mated these two. One is called the dominant trait, and one is called recessive trait. Okay. I want you to remember this term: dominant
Domination.
and the recessive.
Stop coming.
Yes. Shh. When the dominant traits are mated with the recessive trait, what happens is their second generation, their generation after generation will be following the dominant traits most of the time. Means that when you're mating these two, the first generation of these two will most likely to be tall, and seed color will be yellow. Okay, and following the traits of the dominant traits. There is no mix of both. Sometimes there are, but in most cases, it will follow the dominant traits color. Okay, this is why you call it dominant. Means that when you're mating, there are something traits. So it's also written on your page 77 at the top. So L is for the wife colors. Okay, the second dot point. The red flower color, the color is, we call that a dominant trait. The one that is observed in the outward appearance of the individuals. In the white is and in this example, is recessive. Very good. Good. Okay, let's have a look at the questions 3.1. The first question here. Mendel crossed some pure breeding, homozygous, short pea plants with some pure breeding, tall pea plants, and note how many of the plants produced were short. Identified independent variables. It used to be one of the topic test questions. I'm not going to put that in next week. Yeah. The questions like this. Yeah. The questions like this.
SRP.
All right. What would be the independent variable? What would be the variable that Mendel could control? Mendel could varying. Yes.
Independent.
Independent.
The types of plants he's using.
Types of plants? Types of plants or number of the plants? It would be the number.
Sorry.
It's okay. The number of the matings or the breedings in between the short and tall plants. Why? What's the aim of the experiment? What was the aim of the experiment? How many short would they get from the mating of the breeding of these two? Yes. So it means that how many of Mendel was able to control the number of the breedings. Okay, but make sure that in each of the breeding it must be one short and one tall. So control variable. So are there some variables that Mendel would have needed to control? What are the control variables then? What are the things that he needs to make the same all the time? The height, okay? Or the pair must be pair of short and tall. It must be always be short and tall. Anything else? Joe, anything else? Types of plant? I mean, this could be included here, so you put part of the types of plant too. What conditions? Yeah, keep going. Think about the plant. What do we need for the sunlight? Yep, and what else? What do we need to grow the plant? Water. Yeah, humidity. So it'll be either all the nutrients or the sunlight. So it'll be water, level of the water, soil, and the sunlight. They must be identical. So it could be challenging at the weather like this today because it's rain. It could be raining. It could be like climate can be changed quite quickly. So there could be some limitations too. So what he did was he tried to put the many, like hundreds of the pea plants at the same time. So make sure he get the same conditions all the time. All right. So explain why it was important for Mendel to use many pea plants.
Is this about the reliability?
Again, it's one about the reliability. Yes, SRP is kind of related to every single investigation questions like this. Okay, it'll be the reliability. Okay, what about the accuracy? As we have many samples, they say he probably tested for thousands of the pea plants, not just hundreds or 200s, thousands. Then would they give the more accurate data after collecting that? Yes. You get the average of that. Yes. So it's also about the accuracy. Okay, reliability is only applied when he get the consistent data, consistent length, or consistent the result. Means that out of 1,000, maybe he saw that 800s 1,000 out of 800s are showing the very similar result. Okay, well 900. So he's showing that it's kind of reliable because it's showing the consistent result all the time. Accuracy will be related to he collected data and get the some of the samples, the average, and he get the average of them. Yeah, it's kind of showing the average, kind of eliminating the random error. All right. D. Justify why it was important for Mendel to control which plant was crossed. Which plants were crossed? Why do you think Mendel needs to control which plants, so short or tall, to be crossed? Judy, what do you think? Why do you think Mendel needs to control that short and tall when he was breeding to each other, breeding them? Not sure? Maybe, but let's think about the aim of the experiment again. What's the aim of the experiment? How many short plants from? Tall and short. Means that if he didn't control that short and tall, he's not following the aim of the experiment, which means that it will be related to the validity. Why? Because that's controlling what? That's making the same independent variable all the time. If you change the independent variable all the times, you will get the something wrong with the validity. It means that the experiment is not valid at all. Does it make sense? Okay. This is the something common you need to know about validity, reliability, and the accuracy. And very common. You will get this at least 3 times in your life. At least 3 times in your life. One in the year 10, one in the year 11, one in the year 12. If you're taking 3 sciences, you take I don't know, you can take in 2 sciences in year 11, you get at least 7 times then. Because validity, reliability, accuracy problem questions always in science, always. But it's kind of simple. Like, okay, reliability is all about the repetition. It's all about the repetition and the consistency in data.
Yeah.
Very simple. Okay. Accuracy is about like the tools, or all the tools he used, or like in some of the more data in the average of that. Okay. Validity. Think about whether like the experiment and control that independent, dependent, and control variable. Remember 3 things: independent, dependent, control variables for the validity. If one of these not kept, or many of these not kept, means that this is not valid. The experiment is not valid. Okay. Last question. E. Imagine that computers and the internet had been available in Mendel's time. Evaluate the impact this would have had on his research and the acceptance of his idea. So he didn't have the computer or the technology at the time, and by the fact he was living in like some chapel. So he was a chaplain too. So he was a priest. Mendel was a priest. Yeah, he was interested in science. Yeah, there are a lot of like Catholic or some priests who were interested in the science and contributed to science and history too. Mendel is one of them. But think about like what happened in Mendel's time. To spread out his idea, to proclaim his idea, he needed to write a letter or the report and publish them too. It may take like years to everyone to know about his idea, and to take the accept the idea, it will take about another years. Okay. Now think about these days. You guys got the you have email, internet, computers now. What do if you find something very interesting? You kind of like take a photo of that now, okay, and put it onto your Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever, okay, or the social network, and means that everyone in the world, not just your friend, everyone in the world would know about your idea. Okay, whether they're interested or not, your idea will be exposed to everyone in the world. Means that, maybe, okay. But think about Mendel's. If Mendel found the fact that, hey, we found some traits. I mean, this trait is kind of inherited. There's some dominant recessive. And what will happen? In terms of the spreading out, sharing the ideas. Having the internet or the computer means that it will be much quicker.
Like, wouldn't it be like, maybe I'm not the only one who's like...
Yeah. You're not the... Yeah, exactly. You can share the same idea or the similar idea with someone who have the same interest with you. And then, what do? You guys get like a cooperate.
Become besties.
Yeah, you become besties, and then you share. Maybe sharing the ideas means that it makes the idea much better, because there's a limit for one person can do. Okay, Mendel can do up to like okay. Think about the limitation of the Mendel's experiment, Minji. What was the limitation of Mendel's experiment? What would be the Mendel's experiment? His limitation.
Well, in like our time, we can like technologically control like the environment.
Yes. Yeah.
It's much more accurate and.
Exactly. Means that if Mendel could communicate to someone, or like if someone can communicate to Mendel about, hey, I can provide you like the greenhouse, something we're using nowadays. Okay, so you can maintain the same temperature, same amount of the humidity, same amount of the sunlight every time. Then what happened to the experiment? If someone can provide that, then it's more accurate. Means that it will be more reliable in the validity of the experiment, as he can keep the independent, dependent control variables that's constant. The validity will be also improved too. Also, someone else, in other words, can do the same thing, can perform the same type of experiment, means what? It's increasing the reliability again and again and again. So it's more chance to get the idea to get accepted in a shorter period of time. In other words, it will be efficient.
Wait, but how did he do like thousands of
He had a garden in that.
all in one time?
Yep.
It must have had a lot of time.
Yeah. He spent like 10 years, 20 years.
Just for this?
Yeah.
Respect, man.
Yeah. So it's all started from the people, by the way. I mean, there are some other studies before previously, but it wasn't that scientific. As in, like, they didn't keep the, it wasn't that valid in terms of the dependent control variables. So this is the kind of, not the first one, but probably the most known, the scientific experiment for the genetics. Okay, now, next page, 3.2. Yep, genetic distinguishing method is, so we call the alleles for this trait. And then, as we can see from the figure 3.3, your chromosomes would carry the very specific the genes in section. We call the alleles there. Okay, so think about this sections here. Okay, let's read through that. For example, red flower alleles could be represented by the letter big R. Okay, the recessive trait is represented lowercase same letter, the little r, like this. Okay, so the big RR combination of the alleles will produce the red flower. The big R and small r will also produce the red flower because red is dominant. Or to the white, only small RR will produce the white flower. So we call these, when you have the same traits, same allies, like a big R and big R, we call that as homozygous. Homo means that they're the same. So in case we have the small r and small r, it's also called the homozygous too. By case we have the different letters, like a big R and small r combination, it's called the heterozygous. All right. For the big R and big R, to distinguish the two homozygouses, what we do is we call the homozygous big R as homozygous dominant. Okay, and for the homozygous, these two will be recessive. So you can distinguish between these two by saying one is dominant, one is recessive, and commonly we use the big R and capital letter and small letter to distinguish the homozygous, the dominant, and the recessive traits. Generally, when we say like A or A, then we say like the big capital letter would be your dominant one, A would be the recessive one, small a would be the recessive one. Okay, and one thing that you have to remember is in case we have this, which is the heterozygous. Okay, that will show some characteristics of the dominant. So in case of the red and white flower, again, big R and small r will show the red flower color. Okay. So in case here, when the individual has two alleles the same, such as big R and small r combinations, shown in figure 3.3, then an individual is said to be homozygous for that alleles, and the individual is described as a homozygote. So I'll write that, homozygote. And then individual with the small r, big R and small r combination, alleles are heterozygous. And these individuals are called the heterozygote. Heterozygotes. Okay, for 3.2, identify the behavior of the chromosomes during the meiosis, determines the alleles that ends up in each of the gametes. Draw the meiosis diagram and explain each procedure. I want to try this question now, please. Think about the meiosis procedure. Lucky you, I didn't ask that the whole meiosis procedure last week. Don't worry, I'm not gonna ask it next week. I promise. But someday. Someday.
So do we have to?
It's open book, by the way. You can.
It's open book?
Yeah. No, not for
I'm
the
gonna
topic
try
text.
not to, but-
For this one.
Oh.
Just for this one.
If I'm making the open book test, my expectation is so high.
Yeah.
It says
I don't want. I
Yeah,
don't
and the question will not be like
I don't want
just
open book.
simply memorizing meiosis and
Oh,
mitosis.
yeah, we had
That's
this
I don't want
conversation
my-
last time.
Yeah, it will be more I will give you lots of the investigation question then.
No thanks, sir.
Okay. If you're interested in trying to skills test and investigation, yeah, okay, I can do the open book test.
Should we?
Wait. So this question is just draw meiosis.
Through the meiosis process, but think about what we have. We have the big R, homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive.
Also, it,
Think about what happens. So at the end of the meiosis, how many daughters do we get? 4. Is that a haploid, diploid? Haploid means that at the end, I can show that the end stage. At the end, you should have
really big.
you should have 4 with the 1, 2, 3, 4 chromosomes. 1 big R, 2 big R's, and 2 small R's like this. This would be your end stage of the meiosis. As one of these chromosomes get replicated, and we get this at the end.
I was trying to get it. I was gonna do it without looking, but I think I can.
Okay, feel free. Good review.
Wait, why did you skip so much?
Should I skip?
Wait, so there's no interface in
I mean, interface. Well, for the meiosis, we assume that there's a pre-metaphase. So there's an interface being done. Means that there is a DNA's got replicated. From 48 chromosomes, now we have 96.
Yeah.
So it's showing now the replicated chromosomes here. Alright, Minji.
I don't know how to draw.
It's on your page. What page is this?
But I don't know how to draw, like, in general.
Okay.
This is why I think hard.
Well, he's not gonna judge us for our
Yeah, I'm not judging your. It's not a visual art class. Okay.
Yeah, like, look at mine. Look at
kapun.
He's not
kapun jisu.
I'm sorry about that.
By the way, yeah, I remember one girl we studied in physics, and she's so good at the visual art. So I asked her to draw the wave, and she's giving me the 3D structure of the wave.
Whoa.
I'm like, yeah,
I can't
it's
even
one of
draw
the girls I
like,
taught, and then
shapes in math.
3D wave structures. I'm like, wow, but she got her answer wrong.
Did she at least say what?
She didn't put in the calculation whatsoever. I'm like, wow, what an effort, but where's my answer?
Did you at least give her 1 mark?
No, right. This is not a visual art class again. So she draw like fancy wave like this and show us like some all the this and that. I'm like, wow, this is a pretty wave, but I want my amplitude. I want my frequency.
Wait, sir. For this, I don't get it. Do we have to replicate it?
No, it's been replicated.
Has been replicated.
This has been replicated.
Well, why is it RR and?
Yeah, I don't know. So it splits now. And phase 1.
So I'm copying down the first one here. So we have 2 of this. And you can just simply show the dominant recessive traits like this.
So just something like this.
Yeah, it will be something like that.
And it's
Good.
R,
Yeah.
R smaller,
Yeah.
R smaller, and it goes into
Yeah.
more.
So we are finding how we're gonna get up to here.
I think I know it's there.
Yeah.
I think I know it
And then
So after this, it's a kind of metaphase now. So kind of lining up, and then after metaphase there will be anaphase, which is the separation of these two. So from one cell now, we are getting this.
gonna make us during the test?
No, not for next week. I don't think you will get a drawing question in year 10. This is more on year 8
So I did it.
or year 7 sometimes. I ask them to draw a lot of the pictures and diagrams. I must.
Do you have any other?
You mostly teaches everything?
No, yeah, we need to teach every year, most
Do you
likely.
have any other HEHS students?
Huh?
Do you have any other HEHS students?
Your girls? Not for year 10.
No, like any other year.
Yeah.
I did it.
Wait, there's
Yeah.
Mina 언니가.
And one more. I'll tell you later.
Are they younger or older?
No, same year 12. So. Okay. So once we get the anaphase up here, you will see that this is gets separated into 2 nucleus with this. Yep. So you will see that there's a dominant and recessive here again. All right, and then this will go through the process again. I mean, this will be, first of all, line up. So another metaphase, like this, and getting ready to be separated from the centromere. Okay, and there's a small r and small r and big R and big R.
The X in that.
Kinda similar. Like this, and then what do they do? They get separated again. Okay, and the top here, you get the 2 R's and small r's like this. And once we're getting up to the anaphase, you get another telophase. So at the end, the point is from one chromosome, which used to be, so it used to be like this, 2 of this, and there were on heterozygous R and small r like that. It used to be in the one cell, and move on to here. Why does it happen? Because these chromosomes get DNAs got replicated. Therefore, we get the same pair of the identical big R's and identical R's this, and then they get the divided into the 2 daughter cells first. In the meiosis, remember we get the 4 daughter cell with a haploid number, so this will follow by this. Okay. So at the end, your sex cells, our sex cell would only have carrying the 1 dominant or 1 recessive only, because the haploid.
Yeah.
Okay. This is an important part because when these sex cells get, think about it, you have 4 sex cells. Okay, which 2 carries the dominant, 2 carries the recessive. So when this goes through the fertilizations, we need to use something called the Punnett square, like this. So in a one big R and R, I'm gonna bring up the flower on too. R and small r like this. Haley, what would be the chance of after the breeding these flowers? Okay, what would be the chance of the second generation get 1 big R from these 2? If you have alleles of the big R and small r, what is the chance of the big R?
100%.
No, it's a 50. As we get the big R's.
Then why is,
What about the chance of the small r? It's a 52.
why is it always R? Didn't you say that in the beginning?
So assume that the big R and small r is showing the red color. I'm mating this. I'm breeding this with maybe the same.
Yeah, see?
Big R and small r too.
We'll produce a red flower because
Okay, Ginny, what's the color of this flower? Big R and small r? Red. So the colors are red. And what about this one? That's red too. Let's say what happened when we breeding these 2. Okay, so we have big R and small r. I'm gonna put the big R and small r on the vertically and making a square like this. Yep. Then what I do is I take the big R from the top and big R from the side, small r from the top. Okay, start used to do big R and small r, and this would be big R and small r and small r and small r like that. Now, what do we have in the bracket here in the square is we have about what? One big R and big R, one small r and small r, two big R and small r. So can I say there's 25% of big R and big R, 25% of this small r and small r, and 50% of the big R and small r. In other words, we have 25 of the homozygous dominant, 25% of the homozygous recessive, and 50% of the heterozygous. Okay, that's something. The big R, small r, I'm calling this as that's their genotype. As I'm talking about the type of genes inside of that cells, inside of their nucleus. Then Joe, what would be their appearance? For big R and big R, it will be red. So that's the red. What about small r and small r? White. What about this one, heterozygous? That's a red too because they're dominant over the recessive. So what can you tell me about the percentage of the red? It'll be 75% of the red. And? Good.
Huh.
This is called the phenotype. As we are talking about appearance. So even though we can say 75% of the red and 25% of the white, some of the that red would not carry the same gene as the big R and big R. Is in fact what? The heterozygous. Okay? The way we can determine their phenotype and genotype, this technique is known as the Punnett square. Okay? And it can apply for any type. And this is something that you don't need to memorize again. Okay, maybe something that you need to memorize is what the genotype and what the phenotype is. That's it. Now, genotype, as we can get it from the name, gene is about their gene type. Pheno means it's about the appearance type. So something that you need to remember is when we have these heterozygous, in most of the cases, dominant is dominating over the recessive traits. Okay, let's have a look at some flower colors on in class exercise 3.3. The pea plant's red flower color is dominant over the white flower color. The red flower plant with the genotype big R is crossed with the white flower color plant with the genotype small r and small r. Okay, I'd like to try the question A and B, please. So question A is simply asking you, hey, we raise the, we get the seeds from the red flower, we get the seeds from the white flower, okay, which has a genotype of big R and big R. Then what would be the their next generation's genotype and the phenotype? We haven't actually breeding these two yet. So think about, we just get the seeds from the big R and small r and small r. Then, you get the question?
How do you write like?
So it'll be for the big R and big R, it'll be 100% red for the phenotype and 100% big R and big R. Or, no, this is just simply like from their seeds, so individual plants.
Ah.
That the question's wording is quite confusing. So you have a white flower, red flower, and white flower. The seeds from that would always be red, showing the red flower with the big R and big R for 100%. So what you can write is The phenotype of this red one would be, phenotype would be 100%, the red, and the genotype for the red would be 100% big R and big R to show the pheno and genotype. Same for the white, means that there will be 100% white, as it shows 100% small r and small r, the homozygous recessive. Okay, now question B is using the Punnett square to perform a cross between the heterozygous red plants with the genotype big R and big R and small r. Okay, what are the ratio of the difference in phenotype? Means that this is the answer for the question B. I'm breeding this heterozygous red and heterozygous red, then the chance would be, that would be genotype, 25% of the homozygous dominant, 25% of the homozygous recessive, and 50% of the heterozygous. Oh, write it down as big R, small r, and big R, small r. Okay. That's for the question B, but question A, let's think about what if we breeding these two then. We actually haven't done this yet. So I want you to construct the Punnett square between big R, and small r for question A, and think about their phenotype and genotype. And I want you to do this, breeding these two, construct the Punnett square. No, it's for actually A. Yeah. We haven't done the A yet. For A, could you breeding these two, construct a Punnett square, and determine their phenotype and genotypes? So the Punnett square should be like this. Yep, so that'll be good. Very good. So write it down as genotype would be 100% heterozygous, big R and small r, and phenotype would be very good.
Yeah, finally got it. It's not that good.
Very good. So again, it's pretty easy. Yeah, it's not that like complicated. So Punnett square question is kind of doable without doing much studying, to be honest. Next week, yes. Yeah, I'm giving you out some kind of questions like this. Yeah. All right. How about 3.4? I would like to try this question 3.4. Question A and B, please. Try to do question 3.4 A and B. This is a little different to the red and this pea plants. It's about carnations. Bless you.
Thank you. Oh.
But make sure you write your answer as like the genotype and the phenotype, and try to give out the percentage.
Do we just do A?
B2. Punnett square. Mm. And this is kind of reason why you sometimes have both of your mom's and dad's characteristics. If they're like neither to be dominant recessive, then you show that both of the characteristics at the same time. Okay. A plant with the red flowers crossed with the white plant with the white pink flowers. So in this case, neither of the white and red is in dominant recessive. So in case we have the R and W with the heterozygous, there will be a pink flower. So in case of the plant of red flowers crossed with the plant of pink flower, means that we have the R and R crossing with the RW. So constructing a Punnett square, RR and RW, then you get the RR, RR and RW and RW. So genotype, yes, 50% of the RW and 50% of the RR. Then phenotype must be? Yeah, very good. And 50% and the white. Easy. Next. Oh, sorry, pink. Pink. Next one, question B. We have the two plants with the pink flowers. So we have RW crossing with the RW. Then, so RW and putting that to different allies, and we get the R and R, RW. RW and W and W. Then you get genotype 25% RR and very good. Phenotype would be
25% red, 25% white, and 50% pink.
Yep, 25% white and 50% of the pink. This is how you do dealing with the Punnett square question. It's gotta be very quick.
We have it in the test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Told you, like this is not really complicated, and this is actually easy or kind of more interesting than chromosomes and DNAs. Wasn't that bad? Okay. All right, let's have a little break, short break, and then continue on to the next.
Yeah, it starts getting more messy again.
This hand hurts. Yeah.
Buy a proper good pen with a really smooth pen
I love ballpoint
for
pens.
English.
I love inky pens.
At least 5 of them, or dozens.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
So ballpoint pens, the 50-cent ballpoint pens are 1 cent.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the sex linkage and pedigree. And Haley, can be related to you too. We gotta learn about what would be the chance of your kids can be colorblinded. A little bit of that too. So let's talk about the some colorblind. Can anyone? We all have girls here. Can anyone read that numbers in here?
13, 16, 8.
Yeah, no problem at all. So let's think about this. In females, there are X and X chromosomes, sex chromosomes.
Yeah.
Where is this X coming from? One X coming from? From? Yeah, so from parental and one from maternal. Means that one from your dad, one from your mom. What about X and Y of the male? Where is that X coming from, and where is the Y coming from?
Maternal and
X from your if your brother, no, males always get the X from their mother, the maternal,
yeah.
and Y is always from their paternal. Okay, because female cannot produce Y chromosomes at all. It's impossible. Impossible. You're producing Y. That means that there's something wrong. Okay.
Does that mean you're a guy?
Transgender.
Yeah, but the guy, even if they're transgender, they cannot produce an egg.
That's true.
Yeah, they cannot produce an egg. They don't have the natural. They don't have the ovary. They have a sperm duct.
Can you get like a artificial ovary?
There was an attempt to make the artificial ovary, but no. Why would you? Just adopt the kids.
That's true.
Yeah.
Adopt children.
Yeah. All right. So means, think about here. When we're talking about some sex-linked disease or like sex-linked like some pedigree, we will always relate it to the X chromosome, not on the Y. The reason is the length of the X is about this much. Okay, X is this, but Y is only half of that, or the even quarter of the length of the Y chromosome. Yeah, it's short. So think about the chance of the carrying something. If something happened between between X and Y, there'll be more chance of something happening to X. So lots of this sex pedigree or actual sex inheritance are coming from X chromosome. So for the males, as paternal, Y does not carry any of the sex-linked disease or sex-linked pedigree, it will not show any symptoms from the Y, which will be always related to the X. So same for this here. So page 86, this dot point here. Red-green colorblind genes, normal vision is as big N and dominant to the red-green to the colorblind small n. Okay, so let's think about here. We have paternal, that if your dad is colorblind, you may have a chance to get an N, small n. Okay, and your mom is not normal vision, so that. Or I can show you big N and small n like this. Again, this is a heterozygous. As you can see, we have a different big N and small n. In that case, as we learned, this is dominant over the recessive. The normal vision will dominate over the recessive. So the female with the heterozygous would not show the color blindness. Okay, but for males, let's just think about here. Maternal is, let's say, big N, small n. Because the Y does not carry up the N and M due to the short length of the chromosomes, okay, means that the male would be just the color blinded. Do you see the difference between this male and female? The male carrying the N color blinded gene will be color blinded, even with just one color blinded gene. Because Y is kind of recessive. It will accept everything. It doesn't do anything with the color blindness. But female, even though a girl carrying the color blind gene, because she has two X chromosomes, if one of them is the big N, it will resist that. So she is not the color blinded, but we call that and this kind of situation as she is a carrier, as she is carrying that color blinded gene. Parental, maternal, doesn't matter. Okay. Parental,
She's talking about parental and paternal, right?
paternal. Oh, sorry, it should be paternal.
Oh.
Silly goose.
Yeah.
Silly science.
So that's your name. Your name is Silly Science.
Silly science.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. All right, let's have a look at the page 87. So the Y chromosome does not carry any colorblind genes, as I said. So let's think about we have a parent. One of them is a mother is a carrier. So the female carrier. So we can use that symbol, or we can either use this X and XN. Okay, she's giving a birth to the some children with the X and Y with normal vision. So she is a carrier, but she's a normal vision. He's a normal vision male. Assume that they get married, give a birth to the child, and then the children have X and Y and X and X. Let's think about the chance of the this boy and girl could be color blinded. Again, the X is coming from where? X of the mom is always coming from mom for the males. So the chance of this person can be is either X and Y or X small n Y. So chance of the male could be their color blind would be 50-50. Make sense? What about for the female, the girl? So she get the X chromosome from one from the mom and one from the dad. So normal vision. It can also be one from the mom, one from dad. So X, big N and small n like that. So the chance of she being the color blinded is 0. It'll be 100% normal vision. But there will be a chance. There's a 50% of that she can be a carrier. Carrier as in like she's carrying, she's not a color blinded, but she is carrying the color blinded gene. Yeah. So this is what can happen to you, Haley. Okay.
That when you can pass it on to the next
So,
generation.
so right now either X.
Well, let's think about your case too. Your mom's not the color blinded, okay? Means that she's either to be, she's a normal, big N and big N. But your dad is slightly color blinded, means he's this.
Oh my god.
And think about you,
Oh my god.
you
That's me,
and
guys.
your brother.
Oh, that's my brother. Oh, Hayden.
Okay, now your brother is not color blinded, yeah?
I don't think so.
It means that
Wait, but
he's gonna hit me.
I don't
No,
know if he's mentally ill. I'm not mentally. Like, I think it's a bit
All right.
weird. Off.
Your brother
Hayden.
got a Y from your dad and got X from your mom. Means that he could be the XN, big NY.
But he could.
He cannot be if he's not color blinded. There's no chance.
My mom also be big and small.
Let's think about that too. If
Oh,
you,
no.
yeah, if you're not color blinded, Anya,
I
okay.
think so.
That means let's think about the
Yellow,
chance.
green, blue.
Okay, so in case your mom's not color blinded and you're not color blinded, means that from here it would be N, but as your dad is color blinded, means that you must be this.
So it depends now.
Yes.
It all depends. I'm gonna watch your son. I'm gonna watch your son one day and be like, what color is that? I will
Yeah,
laugh.
you are a carrier of the. You can be a carrier of the color
When you have
blinded.
children come back to
Okay,
sir.
but in case your moms are not color blinded, but if she is a carrier, then there could be a chance that your brother could be color blinded and you are also color blinded too. Yeah, but the thinking about the chance that both of you are not color blinded,
Your mom's probably not.
your mom's are probably not a carrier. She's a normal vision.
Yeah, go
Yes,
Chloe.
Chloe.
Who's Chloe?
My mom's name.
Sorry, this is just a really like.
Yeah, so she
Whoa.
must. So you can have. I mean, you must carry one of your dad's.
That man, Jason.
So think about Haley. Think about you're getting married with a guy with a normal vision. Then I'll tell you. You have 3 kids. X. Yeah, I'm making up your story. Okay,
I
now
want 2 sons.
you want 2. All right, let's make it 2 sons.
I want 2 daughters. It's so perfect.
Okay.
And a girl.
All right, XX. There we go. Shh, okay, let's guess the chance of your kids get color blinded. Okay, your boys. Okay, as your husband's carrying the normal vision. Okay, and you can carry this. One of you kids can be normal. One of you can be the color blinded. Can be.
The one poor boy.
Yeah, this girl. Kai. Okay, she will either be the normal vision or she'll be either be the carrier.
She just
So-
called her son my nephew.
Okay, it's okay. Okay, and it may be changed. Okay, all right. Your baby girl will not be the colorblind anyhow. Your boys, but your boys,
I don't care about the boy.
it can be 50-50. It's not bad. I mean, colorblind is just
어,
no.
근데 저는
But if your husband,
다를 게 없거든요.
but if her husband's colorblind, does that mean there's a possible chance of her also being her daughter? Also?
If your husband is colorblind,
No.
there's a chance that your girl can be colorblind too.
Can you shut that Trying to curse my family.
Yeah.
I was
Can I take a photo of this?
The chance of that is pretty high, actually.
I'm going to set her up with some colorblind guy.
Revolutionary.
Okay, this
Gosh.
this is how you determine how you can guess about like, oh, my kids can be colorblind or not. So going up to your family traits, if someone had not just applied in the colorblind, if you have a family history of the diabetes, family history of the any like stroke, yeah,
My
family has
my
one.
yeah,
grandpa.
it can be inherited too.
Oh.
It can be inherited in this way too.
Oh, my family always talks about how my brother's 100% going to be bald because all my grandpas are bald.
Yeah, that also can be inherited. When
bald.
bald.
Like high blood pressure.
And like all the girls have a lot of soot, so I have a lot of soot. So I'm thanking my mom right now.
Is the color like our whole not color
But my
our whole
dad's
family has a gene of like high blood pressure thing.
It could be.
Lots of people die from it in my family.
Yeah, well, same for my family too. It could be related to some genetic inheritance.
Darn it.
Okay.
Darn it.
My grandpa has diabetes. I think my dad has diabetes.
Yeah, diabetes can be related to, okay, cancer can also be inherited too. Especially females, okay, female breast cancer. If your mom's or grandma had the breast cancer, you have some chance of getting the breast cancer too. It can be inherited. So get it checked up every year.
What if my grandpa had cancer and he passed away?
That depends on what type of cancer that is.
Hair.
Lung cancer.
Was it hair?
Both of my cousins got cancer before. But
Your cousins, okay.
yeah, both of them, different types of cancer though. But my aunt or uncle or even grandparents, or I'm pretty sure that the other side of grandparents haven't had.
If that's not related to genetics, it can be related to environment.
How do you get cancer?
It's
Is
It's
it
pretty-
possible to get 4 different types of cancer?
it could be a really unlucky case. I mean, you have to think about the living environment too. Sometimes, like there is a carcinogenic, like something like so I don't know, air pollutions can cause,
He
yeah.
stays at home though.
Hmm?
He stayed at home the whole
Brain
time.
cancer from doing too much electronic devices.
Brain cancer. Well, there's a chance.
Yeah, my cousin got brain cancer.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't
Okay,
want to go
okay.
on my phone anymore.
He's had brain cancer, blood cancer, spine cancer, and blood cancer.
That's not kind of related to genetic inheritance. More about some mutation. Could be about the mutations in that case.
Really? He was
Yeah.
okay for like the first 15 years.
You will never know. Yeah, things happen. Yeah.
Now
It's-
my cousin got like this cancer like over here somewhere.
Yeah. So yeah, brain damage. Okay, the reason why you get a cancer is there are a bit of like mutations ongoing during the replication of the DNA. If you get it wrong, the base pairing match in the replication, that means there's a mutation. If that's a good, like negligible mutation, then yeah, you don't have to worry about it. But some cases, once you get the mutated DNA and they keep replicating, they keep like in a copy and paste. Then what happens is those cells, which is the malfunctioning, is taking parts of your important body organs, like a brains probably, for example. That's like what we call the cancer. Cancer is the cells that your body cells that is kind of malfunctioning due to that. So it can be.
How does it?
We talked about it last time, how we get the mutations too, the radioactive. So all the things are radioactive. But yeah,
Activity.
And how did my
Not so
grandpa
common.
get cancer?
Is
How did my grandpa get
His
cancer?
environment.
when you get old, okay, when you're getting old,
He was like
the level.
60.
Yeah, so when you get old, as in like beyond the 50s and 60s, the chance of getting cancer is getting higher because the level of the ability to regenerate your cells are getting lower.
My mom's nearly 60. Oh no.
Yeah, so it's kind of nature thing. I mean, you're young blood basically. But when you become 25, you started like your brain cells have stopped regenerating from there.
Why?
Stop.
It's just natural happen. Yeah,
Keep going.
you're now keep going. Your brain cells keep growing now, but in 25 it stops.
how do you get blood and spinal cancer then?
I think there is something about mutation more about too. It's kind of hard to tell how you're gonna get a cancer.
Wait, what type of cancers are like common from like genetics? Then?
Breast cancer, pancreatic, liver, yeah, prostate.
I don't want cancer, sir.
Girl, no one wants
I don't
Yeah.
want to go through chemo.
Yeah. But the good thing is the survival rate of the cancer these days compared to many years ago is getting higher. It's getting higher actually.
Isn't it kind of funny that you just rubbed out my whole future?
Did you like it?
Hey, at least you
No,
got.
I feel like this was like a whole. It's like if I died suddenly right now, and
Yeah.
there was like a pan of like important moments in my life where I felt like,
At
whoa,
least-
this is gonna be.
At least you got rid of your potentially colorblind son.
I texted my mom and I was like, Mom, I'm gonna be like, Mom, my children are gonna be colorblind because of that. And you, actually, you're good
Potentially.
because she has normal vision. She might.
I'm telling you, the chance could be low. And if your dad has shown the minor symptom of the color blindness, then you know.
Me and my dad fight every single day. I'm like, this is green, and he's like, how am I supposed to know if this is green? This is red. And I'm like, it's not my fault. You're colorblind, and he's like, oh, he forgets he's colorblind. Like, my God.
Is he having some memory issues as well?
To get his feeling, you know, just think about you're living in the world with you wearing the sunnies.
Yeah, like imagine Sir's actually went green.
Oh,
Yeah, like imagine he's wearing green and then you're like it's red and then he's like your
They
Sir's
just
like it's
put
green.
that green onto.
Wait,
his
so does
skin.
that mean you are normal vision?
I am normal vision,
That
Yes,
means your
sir.
kids are normal vision, 100%. Right?
most likely, yes.
100%.
Your wife's not colorblind?
Well, you're not.
Yeah,
well,
it's
my-
100%.
So you have a successful life of non-colorblind.
And we don't have
Must
any
be
family
nice,
that's
innit?
colorblinded too.
Must be nice. Well, my kids are gonna be colorblind.
No,
My
what?
poor
No.
boys.
Just
Again,
just
the reality
know
fact.
what a good chance is by marrying someone who's not colorblind.
You have
have
to
to
like,
make-
if
you
I
have
go
to
to
make
Sogetti,
sure that-
I'm gonna be like before the name. I'm there.
Yeah, show him that. Can you read the number? Show him this. Can you read that number for me? Hey, this is my phone number. Can you read it for me?
What's your phone number like that?
Can you read it for me? It's You put that and text for the color. Okay, if he calls you back, if he texts you back, that means he's not color blinded.
Marry me. We are married.
One way to figure out whether this is going to be a future husband or not, okay? Give him that. That.
Wait, but then how do? Wait, but then how?
And she agrees with that.
But then how do girls get colorblind again?
If the mom is
If the mom is a carrier and the guy is
Can be, yeah.
also
the guy
And
is.
that's
Well, the chance would be like if your both mom and dad is color blinded, the chance,
The girls are
yeah.
colorblind. Then I'm like, wow, you are a lucky girl.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you're not. I mean, look, girls have a lower chance to be a color blinded compared to males, due to the girls carrying 2 X chromosomes, while male only carrying 1 X.
Little weaklings.
Yeah.
having bad vision can be down the line as well, right? Having like bad eyesight.
Oh,
yeah,
that's also
I get it.
inherited. Yeah.
'Cause my mom was blind. I'm blind.
Your mom's
Blind.
Like blindness is like bad vision. I have bad vision.
I have bad
That's
vision
why my
too.
contacts-
Yeah.
Huh?
I mean, eyesight these days is more about environment fact. It's more about environment.
I'm gonna Google it. and
Think
say,
think about how much time you're watching YouTube in a day.
Oh, my screen time.
Yeah, exactly. How much time you're spending time on your smartphone?
My screen time went down.
24
Okay,
hours a day.
can you live without your smartphone now?
No.
Exactly.
Because what if
Yeah.
I get kidnapped?
Actually, yes, I can.
Can you?
I'll have my laptop and iPad.
I mean, like it's any of the electronic devices.
I'll have
Oh, how do you call the
That's good.
cops? That's the only reason why. I
You're like a ladybug.
Not because of
Okay,
YouTube.
girls, enough. Let's try this now. 3.5. I want you to try this question for now.
Aggie